Oh, hello. Okay. All right, so I want to lock this memory in. This is going to be my memory lock for, this is what I'm doing right now. So I'm reading the Bible and I'm reading it every day. So I've set up a 5-day challenge for myself. So basically, Monday through Friday, I will read chapter and verse from the Bible, and then I'm going to break it down in my way so I can understand what the key words of each chapter and each verse are. And it's super simple. All right, so once you understand what the words are, then you own those words, and those words become you. And that's how you have to do it. So here, check this out. I'm always going to be functioning from this realm right here. This is called Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. So you have to understand what this means. This means wherever there's 2 or 3, there is I am, and I am is there, right? So once you get 2, 3, 4 people, however many you get going, that's when God starts to come and he starts to crush. Okay, so this is what gives me my authority, because God gave me the authority to go find other men and other women and gather them together and then build one body. So the flow that I did was Genesis. This is what I did today. So I had to read the Genesis chapter, and then which verse? See, I have my book. Check it out. So that's going to be my words of the Bible when I take out the key words, and I'm going to focus on those words because those are the words that I want to understand, because those are the ones that stick to me. Because right here it says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? So that's how you have to read it. You have to read it word for word, because each word in itself is a contract, right? So one word means one thing, right? And you have to know what that one thing means in that one word, so then that way you can own the word. If you don't own the word, then that means you're going to be using someone else's words, right? So this is how you have to own the word. You can read the book. You can download the book. You can get the book wherever, because it's online now. And all you have to do, read the word, own the word, use the word. Okay, so here we go. Check my flow out. All right, this is my one Bible book agent. This is my bit, my offer, my value, my service, my flow. 2, 3 more. There am I. Matthew 18:20. All right, quest. Read Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 through chapter 3, verse 24. Okay? That's all in here. All right, so here's the first book. It's called the first book of Moses because that's what they called it in the King James Bible, right? So here, this is a good Bible. I just like the way that the words are in it. It's the big print version. So the big print version was created by the Christian Art Publishers. All right, so check this out. Okay, so look, when you read this one right here, you have headers, right? So the King James Version 16:11, 16:11 gives you headers, so then that way you can organize what the word is supposed to be, right? So one man or one woman can go in this book, as long as they can read and write, they can understand the law of the land, right? So this is going to lay it out for you. Basically, you have to read this almost as if you are reading a constitution, right? These are called your articles. The Constitution mirrors the Bible, right? And then when you read this, you have to see these as articles, right? These are the articles of your organization, right? So this is how God organized the world that we live in. It's stupid simple, right? Constitution. So this is what he said. All right. So then you just keep going with the flow. Chapter 1, verse 1, words. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And then chapter 3, verse 24, words. So he drove out man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, right? And a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life, right? Okay, so what is the tree of life? Oh, look at that. See? Hello, right there. Those little figures right there, those are what represent the tree of life, right? Those, if you're a Christian, those will be called the cherubims, right? Those are the ones who bless. Those are inside me, right? Each one of these little light creatures is inside me, and it protects me, right? It says so because right here in the book, it says it. Okay, so light, that's what your light and your body wheels are. So when people make fun of people who talk about chakras, it's because they don't know chakra means wheel, right? Wheel is also the same thing that the Christian would understand as far as your cherubims, right? The cherubims, or your angels or your messengers, are the same thing as these little light beings right here. Those are the ones that God has given you to protect you, and it's inside of you. All right, so let's keep it moving, right? All right, so here's a highlight. God formed man of the dust of the ground, right? Simple. God breathed into man's nostrils the breath of life. Man is living soul. Fact of God, okay? That's basically what it is. So how was man created? God created man. How did God create man? From the dust. Stupid simple, right? You don't have to worry about all the biology and shit like that. You just have to know that you come from the dust and you're going to go back to the dust. Simple. All right, so let's keep going with the flow. All right, here goes the header, the words, the flow, the key words. All right, so creation of heaven and earth, who did that? God, right? Creation of the light, who did that? God. Creation of the firmament, who did that? God. The earth separated from the waters, who did that? God, right? The creation of the sun, moon, and stars, who did that? God, right? The creation of the fish, fowl, beast, and cattle, who did that? God, right? The creation of man in the image of God, who did that? God, right? Provisions for food. Fruit is meat, meat is fruit. Who said that? God, right? The first Sabbath rest. Who did that? God, right? The manner of the creation. Man is dust of ground. Who said that? God, right? The Garden of Eden is food, tree, life, knowledge, good, evil. Who said that? God, right? God creates woman as helper for the man. Woman literally means man, wife. All right. The serpent's deception and man's shameful fall. How did man fall? They ate the food, right? All right. God questions Adam and Eve. Who told you you were naked? That's the question. Who told you you know what you know, right? Once you know what you know, then that means you've eaten from the tree of good and evil, and now you understand what it is. Now you have to act like God, right? Now you got to get out there and work, right? Let's keep it moving. Right, the serpent is cursed. How was the serpent cursed? The serpent is now the enmity. Enmity literally means enemy, right? Okay, so the serpent is the enemy. And then what was the final one? I have one more. All right, and then the last one, because it gets simple, right? Oh, the punishment. So this is the punishment God promises for mankind. Till ground, work. Okay, so now because we've eaten from the tree, and now we know what good is, and now we know what evil is, and now you know that you're naked, so now you can have discernment because you can choose, you can make choices, you can say yes and you can say no, and now that you know that, now you have to work. You're no longer a baby. You have to work, because once you know what the word is, then you have to get out there and work, and you have to do it. Why do I say that? Because that's what God told us to do. He said, till the ground. Till the ground literally means work. It means cultivate, work. Okay, so that's it. That was the chapter and the verse, and then I closed it out because I'm turning this into an affidavit form, right? Because then once it's in affidavit form, then I'm going to get it stamped and notarized and witnessed and things like that, and then I'm just going to have people say, "Yo, prove to me that this isn't true," right? Prove to me that God didn't create everything. And prove to me that you know how other things were created. And if you can't do that, shut up. All right, so here we go. This is where the claim comes in. So when you write this, you have to put this in the paper form, in the document form, because it has to be in written form in order for you to stand on your court, because your court is the document. The document is the four corners. The four corners is how you hold the court. And if you can't stand on your ground, you can't stand your ground because you don't know what the word is, somebody's going to knock you off your ground, and then they're going to take your power. They're going to take your court, right? So this is what you have to do. You always have to go the highest of the high, because the Most High put you in control over this domain, right? So you have to claim. You claim. You don't plead. You don't beg. You don't ask for permission. You claim, right? So you claim these facts. Creations of God, right? So this is what I do. I say, I claim that these facts are creations of God, not creations of man. I ask, do you agree? Yes or no. So you always have to ask mankind, do you agree? Because that's the basic rules, right? You have to ask another living being, hey, do you want to play with me? Yes or no. Hey, do you want to do this with me? Yes or no. Because if you cannot agree because you did not put the words on paper, then there is no agreement, because then everybody's just babbling and they're just babbling all over the place, right? So that's why you have to put your words on paper, right? So you have to make your claim. I claim that God created everything. Do you agree? Yes or no? I claim man. I am man, not creation of fiction. I ask, do you agree? Yes or no? Stupid, simple question. I'm not fiction. I am man. I am a creation of God. I am not a person. Do you agree? Yes or no? That's all I need to know, right? I claim, I ask. Oh, and then we go. Here we go. Then I close it out. I close it out with, I always have to ask, right? Because ask is to pray. So I always have to pray, and then I ask help. Will you help one build one fleet? I want to build one fleet because I want to protect the children. And the only way that I can protect the children is by getting men and women out there to teach and train the children how to be men and women of God. And the way that you become a man or a woman of God is you have to know how the Bible works. You have to know how the Constitution works, and you have to know how to create your own Constitution. You have to understand how to write your own bylaws. You have to understand how to get your documents in order. If not, then somebody else will be running your life, right? And you do not want that. This is why you have to put the memory out there for mankind, because mankind always forgets, right? The reason why mankind always forgets is because we keep falling, right? And then we keep having to be reborn, and we have to be rewoken to all of the bad stuff that happens, right? Because that's just what happens. It's written in the book. So on that note, my contract is done. I read my first day challenge. I've completed it. That's Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 through chapter 3, verse 24. And on that note, I'm out and I'm good. Nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.